Hi, good evening. So, how's your day going today? So, was it like an off for you, or were you working? And, I wasn't expecting a lot of you for this session today, but I'm so happy to see that you've come for this session. Thank you so much for coming and, just realizing that how important these Career Wednesday sessions are. And just this 1 hour every Wednesday is really going to help you in bridging that gap that you are currently probably facing and getting through that next data science job role. So thank you so much. So Ramu is saying he has an off today. Congratulations, Ramu. So great, you're going to spend this 1 hour fruitfully for your learning. I'm very happy. And I'm sure that every week that your Career Wednesday session is going to be really informative. Plus, whatever you're learning, try to incorporate that in your, profile building, and definitely get back to me like with an email saying that, this is what I learned during the session and this is how I would like to improve. And, you can always get back to me writing an email as to what you learned and how you're progressing. Plus, you can always get on a call if you're very busy, occupied with work, and sometimes you cannot take out time for the one-on-one career assistance, not an issue, but at least I want to know the kind of progress. Like in the past, two sessions, what did you learn? What did you master? Have you improved something? Have you worked on your SWOT? So that is something that I want to specifically know from you guys. And that is exactly what I keep on referring to. Plus, whatever the session has, the entire recording and even what is shared after that gets uploaded on Insaid Thursdays for you. So in case there's any confusion, you can always go to your LMS, go to Insaid Thursdays, and under Career Wednesdays chapter, you'll be able to see the recording. I hope this is clear so that we can begin and we can start with today's session. Yeah, is everybody ready with me? Okay, so let's interact, make the session a little, interactive, participative, just the way I did it last time. So today also we're going to be looking at it. Now, after doing this session today on resume, I would like you to go back and look at your own resume, look at what pointers can be, you can be working upon, what is currently there, what is currently missing, and work on that. And you can definitely, write an email to me, or you can also share it on the Insaid page on LinkedIn as to how the resume session or the Career Wednesday sessions are helpful in building your career journey. So this is basically designed in a very, strategically, like designed in a manner wherein it is targeting an overall evolvement, like as to how you have to evolve from one person, like where you are in your current role and how you can transition into the next one. So you can definitely find the recordings on the LMS. That is something that I've already shared earlier. Now let's look at the agenda for today. So today we are going to do something which is extremely important, and that is something to do with your resume, because when you're looking at a career progression, resume is one thing that we all have to work at. Whatever role that you're looking at, if you are looking at a mid to senior level position, you're looking at a leadership role, or you want to even start, let's say, a new job as a fresher. So at every stage of your professional journey, tailoring your resume to beat the ATS tracker is something that we're going to be looking at today, right? Yes. So for this tailoring, we are going to be looking at tips, and we are also going to be looking at how you can overcome the errors when you're tailoring your resume to beat the ATS. We'll also understand what ATS is and how you can beat it. So identifying keywords and the checklist for the resume. And to top it all, these are, of course, the subcategories, right, choosing the right keywords and checklist for a resume. But along with this, I'll also be sharing a resume briefcase with you towards the end, which will be uploaded on your LMS, which will include few data science samples for you, the resume samples. You will also have a checklist that you have to look at before you submit any resume. And third, it will also cover the right keywords, or especially the action words which need to be used for your resume. I hope this is clear. A resume briefcase will also be uploaded. It will be shared so that you can refer to it whenever you need help. So personally, for your own self, you can refer to it. Okay. So great. Thanks, Yogita. Just be more active and attentive here. And of course, wherever, I'm going to involve participation. So where I need for volunteers, just feel free to volunteer and just get on, just come on air and definitely participate as you're asked to. So great. Let's look at various tips how you can definitely tailor your resume to be the 8 years and what you can be doing. But before we start, tell me, do you have any idea as to how you can do it and what is an 8 years to start with? I want to know about your ideas. You can all share it in the chat section what you think 8 years is and why do these companies have 8 years in the first place? What is the reason for 8 years? I am looking for some answers, some concrete thoughts that you have. Okay, it's absolutely applicant tracking system. That is the full form, correct? But why do these big companies have it? You have no idea. No problem. No idea is also some idea at the end of the day that you don't have any idea. So acknowledging that is also very important. Filtering, right? Great. Now, simply, yes, basically tracking system, screening of suitable candidates. Yes, it's bulk load of applications. Absolutely. So a lot of you have actually guessed it right. So applicant tracking system, as somebody has just said, it's a software. It's basically an automated software and it is used to test. It's basically used to scan or shortlist specific applications which are suited for the job role. Now, why is that done? Yes, why is that filtering process done? Filtering process is done only because an HR in a company is not suited. It's he or she is not, doesn't have that much time to scan through all lakhs and lakhs of applications for one job role. So to make that process easier, they have adopted applicant tracking system. And now, because of that, sometimes if what you are mentioning in the resume and what is expected in the job description, if there is a mismatch, automatically your resume gets rejected. So it's quite normal if you think that your resume is not getting shortlisted, it's not featuring on the tracker or it's not getting accepted. So you have to think very technically. There is no, it's not like it's biased or anything. It's just that it's a machine. See, similar to Alexa, whatever information I need, I want to listen to a song. So I'll give those keywords, I'll say those keywords. And because of that sound recognition, it will try and search for that song and that song automatically gets played. I hope this is making sense that how they are using technology in shortlisting the right candidates. Are you with me on this? Have you understood the example of Alexa? Yeah. So similarly, the way you talk to Alexa, think of applicant tracking system in the same manner. What is being fed in the ATS? And we have to give the same command to that ATS, and that is how it is going to be accepted. And that is how your application is not going to be rejected. Now, let's say, how do we do it? Now, how does it shortlist? Of course, it looks for the matched keywords. Now, every job description, every job role that a company has, they have specific keywords, which we'll be looking at later. Okay, I'll make you do an activity which will be helpful for you today. So they look for specific keywords which are mentioned in the job description, and they are expecting the same skills in that particular employee. So obviously, what does the ATS do? ATS already has that information that these are 10 skills which should be there in the resume. So if that skill is not there, automatically it will not be considered. It will get rejected. But out of those 10, even if 8 skills have been mentioned in the same manner, in the same format, your application will be passed, right? So this is what you have to, how you have to progress. Guys, if there are any questions, we can address it later. Right now, let's understand this and understand the process so that we can work with the process and we can get our applications shortlisted. So that is how the best suiting process. So it's just, it's very easy. It's very technical. So if you use the same keywords, automatically there are 99 percent chances, or even like you can say the higher percent chances of your application getting shortlisted, right? I hope this is making sense that how you can be suited for that ATS application tracking system. Is this clear that how you can be, you have to look for the right matching of the keywords which are mentioned in job description, and your resume has to match that. Now we will see how we can match that in some time. Okay, so obviously this entire struggle, this entire dilemma as to how you have to beat the ATS is something which you need to be looking at. I've told you, like, you have to match. Do you have any other idea, like any other tip that you think that you can even beat the ATS? Do you have any suggestion, any idea that you'd like to share on the chat today? Avinash is saying crystal clear. Yes. Now, would you like to add on, other than the job keywords, what other things can you pay attention to, or how else can you modify your resume so that there is a definite chance that your application is getting shortlisted? Frequency of keywords. Excellent. Lavish, that was excellent. Yes, the number of times a particular keyword is used, especially in the job description. If one particular skill or a keyword is used 5 times, that means that the demand for that particular skill is the highest. Ensure that skill is pretty visible on your resume. Absolutely. The frequency, it gives you, it shows you the importance, and you can also increase that particular keyword in your resume. So that it's not like you cannot use the same skill, you can use it in different ways, but that word has to kind of surface at the top, right? More technical terms, but I would say more relevant technical terms. Instead of Shantanu just saying that technical terms, you have to ensure that they are terms which are more useful, which are more meaningful, suited for that job role, which we will see. I will make you realize in an example in some time. So we are going to follow 3 simple steps to beat the ATS tracker, and the same 3 simple steps that you will always look at when you are looking at your own resume. And this is only when you're looking at your own resume. Think that if you were the recruiter, how would you look at these 3 steps and you would shortlist? So firstly, you're going to look at the formatting of the resume. You're going to look at the keywords which have to be relevant, suited for the job role. And third, you're going to check for the grammatical errors. And this is one error. Grammatical error is something that I keep on seeing in resumes all the time. And this is something which you have to avoid. Now, if you change the spelling, for example, we'll come back to this. So for example, if you change the spelling of a word, like if I have to say last, the word last, and if I say LSAT, so obviously the entire word changes. It's a wrong spelling and it's a mistake. It's a spelling mistake that I'm doing. So obviously the word changes. So if I'm writing a particular skill and if I just change the spelling of that, particular word, if I say KERAS and if I say KERUS, so is it the same word that I'm using in my resume? Yes or no? No, exactly. So if it's a no, that means you will have to use the same word which is mentioned there. And of course, the spelling, always spell check before submitting your resume, whether it's naukri.com or indeed.com or any of the career sites that you're looking at. If you're looking at Google or Amazon, any big company. So be very careful and do a proper hygiene check just before submitting the resume. Now, which file or which format do you choose? Which do you generally choose? Which do you generally submit? Do you generally submit PDF? PDF, okay. Or Word? Now, both are okay, but if you ask me personally, I would say go in for PDF, because PDF is something that, is just readable, right? So you can't edit it as such. So here, sticking to a PDF, it's more professional as compared to a Word doc, especially when you're sending your resume. So ensure that both are fine, but if you ask for preference, stick to PDF. It's always better. I hope this is clear. Now, great. Of course, what about images? Now tell me, do you think the ATS tracker can see any images? It's just a software. Can it see, can it even recognize the colors, whether it's red, blue, pink, purple? No. So simple for an ATS, it doesn't really matter if the image that you've put in is infographic or it's some color. So basically ATS is color blind. Let's put it that way. So when it's color blind, it's better to avoid any sort of graphic visuals and images. Please understand, resume is a professional document. What is it? It's a professional document. And for that, you don't have to have too many flowery or flaunting images. It's not really a wedding card, it's basically a professional document. Your resume, in your resume, you as a professional, your achievements, your contributions, they need to be highlighted. What your skill set is, what your technical, what your core competencies, how you're contributing in a particular role, that is of more relevance, right? Okay. So you have to understand that any sort of resume that you're building, even if you're sending it to a recruiter directly, try to limit your images, because images, if they have to look at something which is creative, they would give you a task post that. A resume is just for a bit of shortlisting process. Once they go through it and they get to know the keywords or they get to know your competencies, they would surely give you a call. And after that, you'll have a couple of rounds wherein they're going to be evaluating other skills. So you'll have enough time to showcase that. Now, coming back to this third point, which is very, very important, and that is avoid spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. Now, there is a sentence right in front of you guys. I want you to write in the chat and tell me, what errors do you see here? Where is the grammatical error and where is the spelling error? I want you to write, yes, write. Last in yours, okay? Very good. Work is the grammatical one, and last, absolutely correct. So last in yours, so you have to ensure that these kind of silly mistakes should be absolutely avoided. Whether you're a fresher, you're a very competent professional, or somebody who's above 25 years of experience, ensure that your errors, spelling mistakes, and even grammatical, like successfully work. So worked, I keep on seeing this in the resume. Do not make these kind of errors. Like, these are basic grammatical errors. It just looks very unprofessional if you're not able to, have basic grammar in place. So that is something which you need to absolutely, yes, you can say have worked, successfully have worked with, that is fine, or successfully worked. This is also fine. Nobody's going to get into the, nitty gritties if you just remove have, but worked here is obviously something that you need to be looking at. So ensure that you don't avoid that. Now, how do you really pass this ATS test and make it even more ATS friendly? Now, I have already told you 3 things. Now, can you, can somebody actually come back and tell me 3 things that we have really looked at? So I would like somebody to come who's volunteering to come on air right now and talk about 3 things quickly that we have discussed, because I want to know how good is your memory, what recap, and then we'll move on, because this is a very, very important workshop that we are doing today. Okay, you're all saying, so I'll get you on air in a bit. Okay, grammar usage, you want to participate, Smita wants to participate. Okay, so we can have Abhinav, you can have Smita, you can put her on air, let her quickly give a recap of what we've discussed so far. Yes, Abhinav, you can put Smita on air right now. Can we have her on air right now? Yeah. Smita, you can unmute yourself. I think you are on mute, Smita. You'll have to unmute. Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Absolutely, you're audible, Smita. So can you quickly just give a recap of what we've discussed? Very short and crisp. Yes.
Yeah. What I have understood from from what has been discussed till now is we have to be very careful while writing a resume.
Right.
Main things that are of importance is that it should be in a correct format. If we give it in a Word format, it can be modified every now and then. So that is
Correct.
why PDF should be preferred.
Right. Very
Uh,
good. Yeah.
Secondly, there should be the keyword should be relevant as per the requirement of the job. We should look into the JD and find such important keywords that we are also good at and try to
Perfect.
highlight them in our resume. Other than that, we should be always careful about grammatical errors and we should try avoiding them. Right?
Perfect.
And
Great.
avoid making meaning making it more like graphically
Colorful.
need
Yes.
not be visual. Visualization is not important. The main
Correct.
thing is the subject should be clear. The main
Absolutely.
point should be highlighted
The
rather than
content.
yeah,
Yes.
main content should be highlighted rather than making it more colorful. That's it.
So great. Thank you so much. That was crisply done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Uh, Thank you for coming on it. Abhinav, you can just put her on mute. Let's continue, guys, now. I'll give you one task, but I think we'll cover a couple of points and then I'll probably ask you to review a resume, which I'll be doing it in a bit. So, how do we make it? It is friendly is something that we definitely need to be looking at. Now, here, what we can do is obviously there are few tips. So organizing your content, as even she specifically said that, creating like bullet points, highlighting your text is something which is extremely important. I think if you remember, even in school we used to do it. When we used to write paragraphs, we used to write pointers, we used to always make it bold, colorful, bright, so that the first thing that anybody looked was basically how, neat it looks. So when you look at a particular document, even if it's like a resume, start looking at, think that if I'm giving it to somebody, would the recruiter find it neat, tidy, clean, professional? So if it is formatted well, if the content, the top pointers or the headings are absolutely bolded in capital letters, automatically your resume is going to get that reference. It is going to be shortlisted, whether you've uploaded it online or you're sharing it personally through a reference. Now, of course, using font, what kind of font you can use, I'll just show it to you. That will be very helpful. And you don't have to worry, guys, because I'll be anyways sharing the checklist of a resume with you, which will be very easy for you to look at those pointers and create a resume so that there is no confusion at all. Now, you can obviously highlight the text with bold, with capital letters, and how you can tailor your resume. Depending on the job description that you're reading, you have to look at the definite keywords. Now, I'm going to share something very, very important here. We're going to look at all this in more detail now and understand how keywords really change the entire meaning of a particular resume. I hope this is clear, like how each and every keyword that you're putting in, everything that you're putting in your resume has weightage. Do not exaggerate. Do not write numbers or words or anything that you cannot justify possibly later, because you're going to lose out on a big opportunity, whether it's a data scientist, data analyst, business analyst, or an AI engineer. So you have to ensure that whatever is going in your resume, you have a complete backup or a justification for that. So don't exaggerate. You cannot fool the recruiter possibly, but you can definitely prepare your answers better. So the professional fonts, as you can visible, it's pretty visible. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this as well. You can refer, you can stick to these fonts, you can stick to the font size specifically and keep it very simple, keep it very professional. You don't really have to modify it or make it very flowery or red, pink, maroon. No, simple, even black and white, or sticking to a basic blue is all that is important in a resume. It can be, it's one of the classic resumes. See, different resumes, there are different, of course, templates that we all come across. So I'll be sharing those samples with you, which will be, an out of those, whichever you find is suited, you can definitely have a look at it. Now, there's nothing to explain out here. It's self-explanatory and you'll be using this in your resume. Is this correct? I want to keep on seeing the kind of reference that you can have. I'll be sharing the samples with you whether you have 5 years, 6 years, or 10 years of experience, you can have a look at it, and based on that, you can build a resume. So here, the next pointer, of course, is important, which is your contact information. Now, in contact information, if you remember, if you guys have attended the first Career Wednesday session where I told you how building your own, data science portfolio is very important. And that is something which you need to project here. You need to have a professional email address. Email address doesn't have to be like smart@Google or gmail.com. No, it has to be very professional. It could be just your name and Gmail or Yahoo, whatever you follow, right? Or Hotmail. Along with that, your professional profile, like basically what your portfolio on, a social platform is. So you need to include your GitHub if you have. If you don't, I would really encourage you to build that and look at the LinkedIn URL. Please put it right under your name. You can put your city, you can put your name. No personal details required. No birthdays, no specifically details related to mother, father, not required. Because that, anyways, if they want to know, they will give you a personalized form later on to fill details in. I hope this is clear. This is very simple. There's nothing much to explain. You can definitely come back to this slide later. I want to come to the more important part, which is, of course, about keywords. Now, for this, I would like somebody to volunteer and come on air and try and read this slide, because this is one of the most important slide, I would say, right now. Yes, you can give Jaya professional email address. Professional email address doesn't mean your office email address. It means something which is not like cooldude@gmail.com. It looks very unprofessional. So that is what I was trying to say, that keep it very simple. It could be just your personal email ID, but like a professional one, which is not like smile@gmail.com or something like that. So let's have, okay, Anushri wants to volunteer, but I remember Anushri, I would give you a chance. I want others also who haven't participated, who haven't come on air. I would like you to come on air and be, yes, Pawar, this is fine. This is a professional email ID. There's nothing, absolutely, it's perfect. It's your name and email. There's no problem with that. Anybody else who's volunteering? Any new? Because I remember Anushri was there. Yes, we'll come back to the picture part in a bit. Okay, so we have, yes, Anushri, because I want others also to volunteer. We'll probably have you again. Okay, let's have Suhas this time. So Abhinav, could you please put Suhas online? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Anushri, I'll have you later in the next activity probably, but right now I want somebody else to try. Yeah. So Suhas, are you online? Are you on air? Yeah.
Yeah, Manjusha, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
so
for
much.
giving an opportunity to speak. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I just wanted you to quickly read these two sentences for me, because this is very important. I wanted some student to read it out. Yeah. Could you please read the two statements?
Yeah. Keywords ensure that your resume contains the same keywords as job description. Write keywords the same way as written in the job description.
Perfect. Just a second. So here, guys, just want you to draw your attention to same keywords. Means same words used in the job description should be visible on your resume. That is how ATS will be able to accept it. So let's take an example here. Yes, please continue. Yeah.
Yeah. For instance, you can write MBA in a number of ways. It can be MBA, M.B. MBA,
Correct.
Master of Business Administration, or Master of Business Administration.
Great.
This is the same for BTech, BE, Bachelor of Technology. So exactly match is your best bet.
Is this clear? I hope you have understood this, that if in the job description it's mentioned MBA, you will write MBA only. You will not say M.B.A. Understood? If it is written M.B.A, then you will mention that in your resume M.B.A. These are very technical, minor details which we never look at. But if we have to get the resume shortlisted by the ATS, we have to keep in mind these small, minor details. Right. Thank you. So have you understood? Have you understood this point?
Yeah, that's pretty clear. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and explaining and reading this out for me. Thank you so much. So I hope this is clear for everybody, that how, like, this simple thing that we never pay attention to, but we have to ensure. And if it is written Masters of Business Administration, that extra S is important in your masters. So it's a very technical thing, but you will have to use the same format. So if they've written BTech, use BTech. They've written BE in this manner, B.E, use that, right? So just ensure this is done when you're looking for a specific job role. Now, of course, you all include your education. You mention, a lot of people mention, in fact, 10th and 12th. You have to avoid mentioning your 10th and 12th. You can right away mention your graduation, masters, and other certifications and skills that you're currently pursuing, or how you have upskilled post your graduation. So 12th is not really required. Now, GPA, I've just mentioned this. If it's up to you, if you want to include your numbers, your percentage, your GPA, you can include it. If you don't want to just mention it also, it's fine. It's not going to make any difference, because ultimately when you are a professional, you are judged more as to what your competencies are, how you can perform at the job role, and that is how you're going to be grilled during the interview. So your certifications, if they are related to the job role that you're looking at, always highlight the license number as well in the certification. If you have a valid license, it should not be outdated or expired. It should be pretty much in place. Now, work experience, of course, you have to look at how. Now, I'm sure somebody who's got, let's say, 20 years of work experience, so they have a lot to write. They can write probably 10 to 11 pages. But how long should a resume be, according to you? I want an answer from everybody. How long should a resume be? Maximum 2 pages, 1 pages? Great. So 1 to 2. Let's keep it to that, because otherwise we can write like 10 pages about ourselves. We all know that. But ultimately you have to understand that nobody is going to read your resume for more than 10 seconds. So 10 seconds is all that they have to look at it. So you have to grasp the attention of that person. You have to ensure that your resume grabs that attention when the recruiter has it after getting shortlisted. So it will be not more than 10 seconds. So for those 10 seconds, you have to ensure that what you can be including in it. Now, I want you to quickly do one task here, which is all of you are going to read what is mentioned here. Now, on the left side, few sentences are constructed, which are talking about experiences, but it's given like basically there is a cross. So I want you to tell me why on the left side, the sentences which are constructed are wrong, and why the sentences which are talking about your work experience are right. Why is it right on the right, and why is it wrong on the left? So what do you think? Read the sentences. You can definitely take a couple of seconds, observe the word, observe what kind of action words are used, observe if there's something that you believe that, that is being added. Okay, Jaya is saying more impressive word. Left is vague. Very good. I like that answer. Left is vague. Absolutely. Professional behavior. Right side is specific details. Accurate. So these are your keywords: accuracy, numbers, right? And left side, and it doesn't have to be vague. That means it has to be specific and it has to be concrete. The left side is incomplete. Absolutely. Sheikh is saying it's more precise. The right side is more precise. Very good. Right? And it's corrected with correct, structured in a very professional manner. Right? Better way of expressing. So you have to understand, when you're expressing yourself in the resume, you have to stick to the right side and not the left side. If your resume currently has the left side of the version, even if you're a fresher, try to think from the right side how you can you can like basically change your sentences, how you can reform them, how you can make it better in terms of your expression, right? Quantifying things is very, very important, because if I say that, I am taking these trainings, but if I don't give a number, I'm not talking about the outcome, I'm not talking about the kind of impact it is having on others, then my contribution in this particular seminar or in this particular role is not justified. So similarly, what you're doing, that needs to be justified in terms of output and numbers. I hope this point is clear to everybody. right? Okay, great. So of course you can include a lot of positions, like if in an organization, okay guys, if you have been promoted twice or thrice, you don't have to include all the like promotions. You can just talk about the latest one, the best contributions in that company, and you can just precisely mention that you were promoted twice in that company. So that's good enough. So basically how you can concisely talk about yourself, how you can be crisp with your information is something that you have to showcase in your resume, because rest what you want to showcase, LinkedIn is pretty much there. And in the next session, hopefully we are going to be talking about LinkedIn, how you can brand yourself and how you can use that experience on LinkedIn, which is going to be helpful in creating your own brand. But resume is not, the purpose is not really brand creation. The purpose is only to get through that desired data science role that you're looking at. So you can always specifically mention the dates. We all do that. Use present and past tense verbs. But I would still say if you can stick to the past or something that you've already accomplished, delivered, received, achieved, contributed. So try to stick to those words. Even in your current organization, I'm saying this for everybody, even in the current organization, because when you're speaking to the recruiter, you're probably serving the notice period or you're about to. So you can always say that in this particular organization, this is how I have contributed. So you can use those past forms in those action words as well. So we'll see going forward how you can do that. Of course, I was talking about concising, bulleted points, make small bullets, make it very neat, very tidy, quantify your successes, your contribution, and include your special projects if it is relevant for the job role. If it is irrelevant for the job role, it's not going to make any difference. It's just that you've just put it with the heck of it. But one thing that you can do, if you have been in a different role and you're transitioning into a new role, what you can do is you can do a skill study, like what is similar. So you can definitely highlight if customer engagement was one part of it. So you can highlight that. If your data analyzing was one part of it, you can do that. If research was one part of it, highlight that in the resume so that some part of the previous experience is relevant to the new role. So that is what you're trying to do basically over there. Okay, so here I'm going to come up with something which is very interesting, which is an activity for you. And this again is a very, very important part of this particular workshop today. You have to find the right keywords. So here Abhinav is going to share a link with you on the chat. You have to click on the link. There will be a job description of data scientist role. He has already shared the link with you. So click on that link and see there is a job description of data scientist role. From there, I want you to locate the keywords which are there according to you. I'm just giving you about 15 seconds to do that. So you can look at those keywords and you can start writing in the chat section. I just want to know how you can study it. You can definitely look at the keywords, look at the technical skills. Good, collaborate. Pallavi is saying collaborate, yes. You can look for at least 6-7 keywords. Product design, okay. Research and device innovative, okay. Quickly, I want others also to quickly go through that link and tell me what keywords. Business processes, Suhas is saying business processes, okay. Data analysis, analytical, big data, machine learning, great, excellent. So basically a combination of your technical, non-technical, and hard skills. So everything together is basically your keywords, important keywords in a job description. Analyze, communication, product capabilities. So not the most, and look at the frequency of the words also. As somebody just mentioned earlier, you have to algorithm, modeling. So basically, you know that they have to be visible on your resume, or you should have worked on a project which showcase these kind of skills, right? Detail oriented, absolutely. So guys, now when you look at a job description, when you are targeting a particular role or a company, always read through the job description. And one thing that I want you to draw your attention to is always include the relevant skills. Always include the relevant skills. That is very, very important. you have to understand that it's not about all the skills that you have to include, but what the relevant skills are. Now, if there are two data scientist roles in two companies, basically the role is the same, that is data scientist role, but both the companies have different description of the role. In one company, the description is writing algorithms. For example, Python, R programming, you have to use these, tools. You have to analyze data using the open source. This is the description in one particular company. So you will prepare your resume using these keywords in the resume, looking at this particular job description. This is in one company, company number one. Now, if you're looking at the other company, the same data scientist role, but there they are looking for somebody who can do a bit of image processing. They can use tools like Keras or TensorFlow. So what you're going to do is you are going to use these keywords in your resume. You will not use the common keywords which you have generally used for data scientist role, but depending on that particular job description. I hope this point is clear that these are two different companies with the same role of data scientist, but different keywords, right? So what this suggests is you have to analyze the job description. This is quite similar to that example of M.B.A. That means you will have to mention it in the same format. And this is a very, very important tip for cracking the ATS tracker. I hope this has made sense, because this particular slide, I would like you to take a screenshot of this. This is very, very important. If you take a screenshot of this, you will always remember that, no matter where. I'll just give you a quick example. For example, you go to a restaurant and you're ordering a simple Indian dish, which is like, let's say, palak paneer, what we all like to have with roti or naan. So basically, what is it? It's spinach with cottage cheese, right? And you eat the same thing in a continental restaurant, right? You eat a steak, which has got spinach and it has got cottage cheese, but the presentation is very different. The ingredients are the same. So it's basically you are using the same ingredient. You are the same person, but you have to showcase different skills depending on the job description. That is how you have to tailor your resume to beat the ATS. I hope this is clear to everybody. This is the most important key point for today. Right. Any sort of personal queries that you have, definitely after analyzing your resume, you can connect with me, for personal sessions. You can analyze your own resumes. You can look through a particular JD. You can prepare your resume in that manner. And then you can decide whether you're definitely, your resume is going to be selected based on that. There is a higher chance if you work with these nitty-gritties. Now, these are, of course, few skills for data scientists. So based on these skills, you can definitely prepare your resume, but these are generally, they could be used they could be asked or specifically mentioned in a job description. So always look for those. And of course, guys, the one-on-one session that we have is free. Of course, it's a part of the program. It's part of your course that we are offering. And these are few, you can say, soft skills which are required. Now, all the soft skills you will not have to showcase in this manner, but try to exemplify it give examples as to how you have used these skills and what kind of contributions you have made, how you have created an impact in the organization. That is exactly what the recruiter wants to see in your job role or in your previous company. And that is exactly what you have to showcase in your resume. And these are, of course, few hard skills of a data scientist. You can include that depending on what the job description is. Read the job description, go do thorough reading of it, and then prepare your resume according to that. And always remember, resume is what? Resume has to have a balance of technical, non-technical skills, of your soft skills. And you can also talk about, how as a team building, like a mentor, if you've got mentoring skills, if you've had managerial skills, business skills, you can include them as well. How great are your interpersonal skills? So you have to include that as well. And they are very, very important for a managerial role or a senior managerial role. So these are few things that you need to definitely look at. This is another bonus tip, that you're always going to include a certification, license dates, license number if you have. And of course, if you're seeking any technical, like a data scientist, and I mean, in your case, it's going to be that. So you are going to include all these programming languages, skills, and you have to have a perfect combination of not just technical, but even non-technical. Like if you're looking for a techno managerial role, showcase your managerial and business skills as well, right? Now, another important thing, action words for resume. So one good thing in your resume briefcase today, action words for your resume will also be shared. So, I mean, we all know what action words are and why do they have to be used? Any answer? Anybody? Anybody has to say anything about the action words that needs to be used or they need to be emphasized? Why do we use action words in the first place? Impression, strengthen, okay? Okay, Anushri, I'll just show you the previous 2 slides. You can take a quick screenshot. You can also refer to this recording later. Yeah. So to emphasize the right skills or showcase your right skills, your technical skills, your non-technical skills, your communication skills, your managerial skills, we use action words. So these are few action words that you can use, but I have shared 2 complete sheets with you over, LMS. It will be uploaded, which will be helpful for you as a doc, which you can refer to at any point in time. You can definitely highlight how you have been an achiever, what all you worked on, what all you've improved in the organization, research. So you can choose the best words and don't repeat the same words in the resume. So that is something that you need to be looking at, repeating words or just using the same word again and again is something that you should completely avoid, right? Distinguishing or having a great impact, you need to use these words in the beginning of the sentences. So these are few examples. Of course, how you can use, how well you use them is an art, and how well you structure them. But you don't have to have 10 sentences, maximum 4 bullets under one job role that you're specifying. And if you're highlighting achievements, include the best awards, appreciation from clients or within the team members. If you've achieved something, highlight that, highlight all your achievements and results and impact that you've created in the organization. I hope that is making sense. So again, and how will you highlight the achievements or output? In terms of numbers or metrics, and you have to highlight the contributions that you're making specifically, right? I hope this is pretty clear. Now, I would just like you to do one thing, and that is, I would just show you a resume, and you have to quickly tell me something that you think is not right in this particular resume. So as you can see this particular resume, can you all see it clearly? Just a second, guys. Yeah, great. So I want you to quickly do, tell me what is it that is absolutely weird about the resume. Photo, font, name, too much visuals. Okay, very good. Pick. Absolutely not professional, too many images, name shadow. Great. What else? Graphic. Absolutely skills. Has he included any numbers specifically? Very little. Bad presentation, pick is not professional. Okay. Perfect, overconfident. Okay. Yeah. Anything else that you notice? Charts, images. Basically, it's not like, and it's not going with it. It's not looking professional for some reason. You don't have to have these kind of images on your resume like this, money like, right? So, yes, why is he? That was a good one. Why is he wearing shades? Absolutely. So that we don't know. But coming back to this, I'm sure you're able to analyze this, in terms of how you have to avoid, basically, in the sense that you have to avoid coming up with such images and such font in your resume. Now, what you need to do is basically, along with this, you have to also look at few things, which is what mistakes to avoid in a resume. And you can definitely, all your queries are going to be answered here. Like you have quickly looked at that particular resume, all your queries is going to be answered here as to what should be avoided and how your resume can give a bad impression or how it can be rejected. So what I would like you to notice here is a lot of you often ask, even in the personal sessions, whether you should have a photo or not. Tell me, what do you think? Should you have a picture in the resume? I want to know, like, what do you think? No. No. Okay. Now, a lot of templates, as you can see nowadays, they have pictures. See, sometimes what happens is a recruiter can ask for a picture. So if, if specifically, yes, Pratik, that's a good point that during pandemic, you can have a picture. But at the same time, when you understand one thing, when you are going to share your LinkedIn URL on your resume, so the recruiter can click on that and they can look at your professional headshot, isn't it? They can look at your profile pic on LinkedIn itself. So why do you need to have a picture in the resume in the first place? As per the Harvard Business Review guidelines, a resume pic is not required. It's like not needed at all. So at the same time, what you need to also understand here is that if it's not needed, then why do we have to unnecessarily put it? Of course, if it is asked by the recruiter, you can put it. So I would just say, going by those guidelines, I would say that, you can avoid it. Of course, like there are a lot of professionals who are in dilemma, but best is to avoid it because it's a professional document. You can give your LinkedIn URL, they can click on that, they can always look at your photo. And even for your virtual interviews, they would look at it, they would probably ask for a photo later on if you're selected. So all of that, to avoid any sort of hassle, you can stick to those guidelines. Other than that, I think what you also need to, yes, a resume is best if it is black and white. A resume is best if it is in PDF format. A resume should have a balance of technical skills, hard skills, and soft skills and your managerial skills. If you can showcase, if you're in that mid to senior managerial bracket. If you're not in that mid to senior managerial bracket, then you can showcase more of your technical skills and how you've used your team building skills in your organization. That is very, very important. Of course, you can have table, but it should make sense. What will you put in the table? What are you trying to highlight in that? If you're going to put specifically your education after your graduation and your masters, or you're going to have something to do with certifications, you can definitely have it to keep it neat, but then again stick to the pages that is maximum 2. Other than that, see, basic language, I would say pay attention to the language, choose a lot of action words. And for that, that of course purpose, like you've already noticed that how action words can create that impact in the resume. It will be very much easy for you if you limit those action words, if you use the right action words for any experience, whether your experience is 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. If you can have 1 to 1.5 or maximum 2 pages, it's good enough. And that is something that you need to be looking at. And one more thing that I would like you to draw attention here is resume is a marketing tool. Do you all agree with me that resume is a marketing tool, guys? Yes or no? So what are you supposed to market? When you're marketing, when you're sending, when you're talking about yourself, what will you market there? Yourself, but what? Your skills, your strengths, and your contributions, which will be helpful in that next job role. So that is how you're suited for the next job role that you're looking at. So if you're looking for the role of a data analyst, you know the skill sets of data analyst, and you're going to think of it like a process that there is going to be an ATS tracker. So how do I beat that? What format do I need to follow? And how do I minimize those errors and how do I prepare myself for that, right? So of course, working with that, along with that, you can also look at the kind of, you can even do one more thing when you're researching about the company. Let's say you can look at the profiles of the professionals who are working in the same industry. You can look at their profiles on LinkedIn, how they have, the kind of action words they have used, how they have evolved in their career journey. If you're with 25 years of experience, you're moving out, or getting into consulting, you can look at consultants who have, moved ahead as a data science leader. So how they have progressed from there. So these are few things you have to keep looking at. That's your plus point. Absolutely, your strengths, your skills, your what you try to showcase in the resume should not be fake. A lot of times people say that, if I don't have that experience, how do I justify? If you are not able to, if you are not justified in your mind, how can you justify or how can you convince anybody else? So that point needs to be clear, that the relevant project experience, the relevant, skills that you require for that particular job role. And if you can back it up with even one project, you can convince that you're suited for that job role, right? And there are, of course, other parameters, but preparing one, professional resume is something that you should entirely look at. Now tell me, how frequently all of you work on resume building, as to how frequently do you, you can say edit your resume, or do you improve your resume? How frequently all of you do that? I would like to know that. Very rare. Jaya is saying very rare. Okay. Whenever we switched a company, monthly, once a year, rarely, not changed since years. Okay. Only when we want to switch. Ram is saying only when we want to switch. For the past 10 years, not updated, not done. For every 15 days, 15 days, every 15 days, okay, once in 6 to 8 months. So let's keep it simple. I mean, of course, the requirement is when you're looking for a switch. Second is whenever you're upskilling, try to add that to your resume, right? So you can, as and when you're upskilling, you can definitely add to that. And every time you learn a new skill or work with a new project, and if you think that is in sync with your career vision, always include the contribution you have made in that project, highlight that in your resume. So frequency, of course, depends on you, how frequently you are, you finish a particular. So about 4, 5 months or 6 months, like when you're adding, you're upskilling, you can keep on adding, change few keywords, because when you gain more experience, you'll be switching, right? You'll also be getting, once you get a promotion, automatically you're going to change your designation, like we all update our LinkedIn profile, right? So the same way, resume is also a document. You need to keep on upgrading it. You can't stick to, if 10 years ago I used to work at some company, I don't need to have a one pager of what I used to do. So keep it very crisp, because now it's not that relevant. What is more relevant is the recent experience that you have gained now. And that is how you have to take your clue as to how you can go forward from there. I hope this is clear. Yes. Okay. How can she restrict the number of pages to? See, that is how, as a leader, somebody who has more than 20, 25 years of experience also, as a leader, what best contributions you have made in the industry in those 15, 20 years, showcase that in the resume and prepare it, tweak it as per the next leadership role or the consultant role or industry specialist role that you're looking at. See, because longer, if you have 10 to 12, usually that's a curriculum vitae, which is more for research purposes, where you include a lot of academic and detailing. So you can, for your projects, you can also give the GitHub link to it. You can also give like an attachment wherein you can have a great portfolio of all the projects you've done. You can definitely attach that link in the resume as well, so that they can definitely have a look at it. They can look at your career progression, but basic resume should be 1.5 pages long without a photo. I hope I've made this clear. And this is not, this is as per the guideline, as I've already mentioned before. So I'll be sharing just few things with you. I'll be sharing one resume briefcase with all the samples and the HBR guidelines, along with the keywords is going to be shared with you, which will be helpful in terms of your resume preparation, right? Now, of course, you can also include your capstone project, which is relevant in terms of your next job role. You can include that. Absolutely. So guys, I think for today, we'll stop here. What you can do as a task is you can all review your resume, whatever pointers you've noted from today's session, wherever you've taken screenshot, go back to that. I'm sure you've had some learning, and it'll help you in building a good resume. You build that, you make those relevant changes, and then you can definitely connect with me at my email ID, which is manjusha@insaid.co. You can connect with me directly for one-on-one session. And we are going to try, and every Wednesday we're going to learn, and it's like a process. So every week we are going to look at how we can make our profile stronger, and how we can add more and more skills to our profile, whether it is our soft skill or technical or branding part of it. So we'll see how it can help us in career progression, right? So that is what I wanted to share. So Abhinav, you can definitely share the links with them right now of the resume briefcase, so that they can definitely download it, and please upload it on the LMS as well. So Abhinav is just going to share the link with you right away, and that will be really helpful. Thank you so much, guys, for attending the session today, and it was great. And ensure that whatever your learnings are, you assess yourself on that, and you also share the learnings on Insaid page. You can go on LinkedIn, use hashtag Career Wednesdays. You can mention about what you're learning, how you're building your profile, and I'm sure you take steps, slower steps every day. Even small steps will add and build a greater profile for you. Thank you so much. And Abhinav is just going to share the link with you, so you don't worry, and all the resources will be uploaded on LMS for you. So thank you so much, session. Thank you so much for this, guys, for attending, and have a great evening. Thank you, everyone.